Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Justin here as always. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me for another episode of What I Watched This Month. We're going to be taking a look at my letterbox, dive into the diary, and talk about everything that I watched in October. If at any point in time you find yourself enjoying this video, do leave a like, comment down below, let me know what you've been watching, anything that I need to check out. Always looking for new things to watch. Let's just go ahead and dive into my letterbox diary. If you follow me on Letterboxd, I will follow you back. I'm always looking at what you guys are watching, trying to find new suggestions, and we're going to dive into it.
Come after me. Come after my child. I swear to God, I will kill you.
The first movie of the month is a movie called Resurrection. It stars Rebecca Hall and Tim Roth. Rebecca Hall you might remember from The Night House, David Bruckner's The Night House a year or two ago. The plot reads, a woman's carefully constructed life is upended when an unwelcome shadow from her past returns, forcing her to confront the monster she's evaded for 2 decades. Now, on the surface, that description of this movie is accurate, but that does not even begin to describe the depths of insanity and truly messed up this movie is. I was not expecting this movie to go as far as it did with how weird and graphic it is and how far they push this concept. Because yes, it is the story of Rebecca Hall's character stumbling upon somebody from her past, but the past that she's running from is far crazier than I could even begin to describe here without despoiling it. This movie has an A24 feel, although it's not an A24 movie. It's extremely graphic. There might be some pretty disturbing moments that some people might not want to see, but without giving away too much of the plot, when she was 18, Rebecca Hall meets Tim Roth. He's a good deal older than her, and everything seems fine at the beginning of the relationship, but about 2 to 3 weeks in, he becomes a almost completely different person and becomes very abusive in ways that I won't describe here, and abusive in ways that you're not really that you won't really expect. These are psychological tortures, really. The big, huge thing that makes this so disturbing, I'm not even going to dive into here, is something that I've never seen in a movie before. I don't think I'll ever see this in a movie after. I gave it 2.5 stars, which is kind of right down the middle, because although I liked how far they pushed this concept, at the end I ended up having more questions than answers, and it just didn't give me enough as far as story. But some of you, I guarantee, will like this movie just because it's so batshit insane. I would recommend you seeing it because the performances are crazy, and it's so cool to see Tim Roth and Rebecca Hall do movies like this that push concepts like this so far. So definitely give it a try if you're into super, super weird movies. That's probably as deep as I'm going to go on any of the movies in this list. The rest I'm not going to talk about so long, but that movie it really did stick with me. And actually, now that I'm talking about it, I actually want to bump this up to 3 stars because it is a better than average movie. I think at the time I was a little frustrated with the end. But I'm gonna let you decide. Let me know if you watch Resurrection, but I just bumped that up to 3 stars. Next up, Terrifier 2. Holy shit, did this blow my expectations out of the water.
You're really weird, you know that?
I believe him.
I watched Terrifier, the first movie, and I thought it was good. I thought it was okay. The practical effects were cool. I like Art the Clown as a character, but like I said, I did a full review for Terrifier 2. It's actually one of my best performing videos in a long time. I was not expecting what Terrifier 2 offered as far as this amazing lead performance from, what is her name? From Lauren Lavera. She's fantastic in this movie. She's so sexy and beautiful, and she just gives an amazing performance. The performance of Art the Clown from David Howard Thornton was incredible, but what this movie blew me away at, aside from just one of the goriest movies I've ever seen, is just Damien Leone, the director, really stepped it up as far as the writing, as far as the plot, the depth of characters, the direction, everything was just on another level. And like I said in my review, I did a full review on this, I'll link it down below. Easily the goriest movie I've ever seen in a theater. I actually had some people turn their heads and almost walk out at certain times. It would get too disturbing. They would walk out and come back in. But highly, highly recommend Terrifier 2. It is, holy shit, it's fucking amazing. It's one of my favorite slasher films of all time. I was lucky enough to see this in a theater. I cannot say enough good things about Terrifier 2. It's available to stream on Screambox now, so I will say this, even if I would suggest watching this, even if you weren't a fan of the first Terrifier, watch this one. I think you'll like it.
Their blood, their pain, all for us.
Next up, Hellraiser, the remake. I gave this 2.5 stars right down the middle. I'm not gonna go too deep into this because I did do a very in-depth full review on my channel, so I'll link that down below as well. I had some complaints with it as far as story. Some of the characters are a little wonky, and I had some thoughts on the new Cenobites, so if you wanna see my full thoughts, I will link that review down below.
You need to get the hell out of here! Get out, scoot! Skedaddle! Get the fuck out of Dodge!
Next up, Halloween Resurrection. What a piece of shit this movie was. I was gearing up for a full ranking of the Halloween franchise, but I just didn't get a chance to watch all of the movies. I haven't seen a lot of these movies, but this one I did not care for. This movie I thought was just a steaming pile of dog shit. Kind of every aspect to it. I'm sure if you've seen it, you guys know, but the Busta Rhymes shit, the terrible story, the bad found footage, the horrible performances. I couldn't even get into it in like a so bad it's good movie because I just found it so irritating and annoying at every turn. They just did everything they could to make this movie just insufferable to watch. I did do a stream on Christian Hannah Horror's channel, their Uneeda Horror podcast, where we talked about a bunch of Halloween stuff. I'll link that video down below. I had a great time talking with those guys, talking Halloween. Next up, Halloween Ends. On the other hand, I did enjoy Halloween Ends. I know that's like the unpopular opinion, although in my comment section, under my full review that I did, I'll link that down below as well. I saw a lot of people that like this movie. I think after so many movies in this franchise doing the same thing, even with Halloween Kills, we got a bunch of good kills in that, but it's still Michael running around in a mask killing people. We've got that a bunch. So maybe it wasn't the best choice for the final movie, like the nail in the coffin for the Jamie Lee Curtis era of Halloween. She says she's not coming back for another one, so maybe it wasn't the best final entry as far as that is concerned, but as a standalone movie, as a Halloween movie, I really enjoyed it. I love the Corey Cunningham story. I love what they did there. It was really well directed. It was really well written. There wasn't a bunch of dumb humor in it. There were plenty of, the entire movie really kept me guessing. The opening scene was great. I did a full in-depth review, so check out my review if you want to hear my full thoughts on that. The Northman, which I still have not reviewed on my channel. I remember doing a trailer reaction and doing a couple of other lead-ups to this movie, and I put this movie on a pedestal, and when I saw it at the theater, I really did love the movie. Upon a rewatch, I watched it on HBO Max or somewhere, I can't remember where it was streaming, but I didn't love it quite as much, and it kind of bummed me out. I gave this 3 stars, which is surprising because I wanted to love this movie so much. I'm gonna give it another watch before I do a full review, because upon a second watching, although I love the aesthetic and I love Robert Eggers' weird writing, the story is a little thin and it does meander a little bit, and I just didn't love it as much as I hoped I would. So I'm going to give it another watch before I do a full review on this. But The Northman, let me know your thoughts on The Northman, because this movie kind of came and went with a whimper, and it really wasn't talked about that much. It was like a $100 million movie. Robert Eggers' biggest movie to date, the director of The Witch and The Lighthouse. Leave your thoughts down below, what you thought about this one. Next up, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This was again my journey trying to watch all of these movies for a ranking. I just couldn't pull it together and watch all of these. I didn't have the time. I eventually will. Halloween 4, I really didn't care for that much either. I gave it 2 stars. I thought it was okay. I really liked the first movie, and I liked Halloween Ends. Kills was okay. As far as some of the older movies, I'm really not getting a great impression. I'm not the biggest fan of Halloween 3 either. Halloween 4, Return of the Michael Myers, although I like Danielle Harris's performance, she's great. The story really left a lot to be desired. The performances aren't that great, and again, the story is just super weak, and I just didn't find myself enjoying it that much, I'm sorry to say. Next up, VHS 99. After the amazing VHS 94, which I loved, I did a full review on that. I thought that had wall-to-wall fantastic segments, so coming into VHS 99, I was really looking forward to possibly another VHS 99 or VHS movie that was just as good or better than 94, but unfortunately, this one left a lot to be desired too. It wasn't horrible, but a lot of the segments were kind of weak. I really dug 2 or 3 of the segments, but there was a couple duds in this one that I really didn't like. I did again do a full review on this one if you want to check out my full thoughts on it. If you haven't seen any of the VHS movies, they are worth watching. I just wouldn't start with this one. Start with the first one and then go to 94. I think those are the two best ones in the series. Then go back and watch 2, and if you're still feeling the VHS vibes and you want to watch more, check out 99. Viral I have not seen. I haven't heard any good things about that one, but VHS 99 just didn't tickle my fancy. Watch the first one, watch 94. Those are fantastic entries. They even did a spin-off movie called Siren, which is based on a segment from the first story in the very first VHS movie. So that's kind of interesting they did that. Next up, again, Terrifier 2. I actually was fortunate enough to see this movie in the theaters twice. I saw it, I loved it. So I told my buddy, because he missed the initial screening, I said, you have to go see this movie with me. So I bought him a ticket and we went and caught it again in the theater, and it's just amazing. It really sticks with you. The atmosphere of this movie is so great. The music's great, all the performances, the gore. I don't know, I'm beating a dead horse at this point. Just watch this movie. It's streaming now on Screambox. There's been so many people talking about Art the Clown being a new horror icon, and after seeing the first movie, maybe at that point I would have disagreed, but after this one, and for sure after the third installment, he is a bona fide horror icon. Art the Clown is a legend, and he is a brutal, mean bastard in Terrifier 2. Now that Terrifier 2 is absolutely blowing up, I'm really hoping that next year we'll see some Spirit Halloween Art the Clown merch. That would be super, super cool. You got to think this movie was made for just a few $100,000, a tiny, tiny budget. The director, Damien Leone, did all the special effects himself. He directed it, wrote it, edited it, produced it. It was initially given just a very tiny theatrical run. It did so well. The word of mouth was so amazing that it went on to get extended for a second weekend, and then a third weekend it expanded to 1,500 theaters. So kudos to him, man. Congratulations to Damien Leone for such a sexy movie, for such a successful run with this tiny budget movie. So, and that's it, guys. That is everything that I watched in October. Again, let me know in the comments everything that you guys watched. I'm always looking for new stuff to watch. Like this video, watch my other content if this is your first time here. Thanks for hanging out with me today, but I think we're done here, guys. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Elvira here, Mistress of the Dark and sometimes Surfer Babe, because Coors Light is the official beer of Halloween and the parties at the beach. Malibu Beach, where you can hang ten. Look, Frankie and Annette. And of course, when it's time to chill, just reach for that cooler of Coors Light. Aged ice cold, never frozen stiff. It's the right beer now for Halloween. Just look for the silver bullet smooth display and dig up your friends now for a party at the beach. Happy Halloween.